Okay, well, good afternoon, everyone. I guess we all have been waiting and wondering how the federal shutdown was going to affect daily lives for people right here in our own community. And I guess we're potentially going to find out, and it's going to happen pretty quickly. And so I'm going to just say one thing, and I think it's important that it's said. When we go out and speak to our constituents have a lot of opinions. Who's at fault? Is it the president? Is it Congress? Who's at fault? Is it the Republicans or is it the Democrats? And these are the questions that many people want to ask because they want to know, how is it that the government can operate like this? Now, I remember when I was in the state legislature, I spent 20 years in the assembly, and there were many times that the state budget was late. Never had an instance where the government shut down, but there were many instances where the state was late. One time we spent the 4th of July at the state capitol. And it's important to remember this. When the legislature was in town and the president or the governor is at the capitol, there's a sense of urgency. The staff is working, and everybody's trying to find common ground. Politics is the art of compromise. It's not the art of gridlock. So if you ask me who's to blame, well, you know what? They're all to blame. They're all to blame because they're not getting the job done. The House is in for a little while today and probably go home for the weekend. The Senate is going home for the weekend. There should be no going home. This is a state of emergency. People's lives, food is the essence of life. People's lives are depending on us and us getting our job done. So my advocacy today is go to work, guys. Get back to work and get the job done. That's what people expect of their elected officials. It's not fun, and sometimes we have to compromise. That's what politics is. And so here in Yonkers, we'll see the ripple effects of what a delayed federal budget means. And for all those who depend on these vital services, SNAP serves 42 million people across the country. And here in New York, 3 million people will be affected. This is a political chess game, I know. But you can't play chess with people's lives. Our residents expect leadership and not the gridlock that they've seen. So I'll say it again. Go back to work. Find common ground and get the job done. So, but what are we doing here today? Because that's what people want to hear about, and that's what you want to hear about. In the face of these changes, we're going to have to come together as a community. And that's why we've partnered with Feeding Westchester, and they've always been a great partner. And we're going to encourage the residents of our city to do the same. Let's come together, let's partner, and let's donate non-perishable items. We're going to have boxes like this set up around the city at our public libraries, at the PAL, thank you, at City Hall, maybe even at our firehouses if need be. And we're going to ask residents and we're going to encourage them to donate shelf-stable items such as canned vegetables, beans, pasta, rice, peanut butter, cereal, whole wheat preferable, right? Whole grain. And we're going to accept donations through November 21st. This is very serious, and this is when they talk about the rubber hitting the road. Well, you know what? Rubber's hit the road, and we need to be very, very vocal and very, very pointed in our comments. The people need the people's representatives and the White House. They need to hear that this is not going to be tolerated. And Election Day is Tuesday. I have no doubt that the people will speak and their voices will be heard on Election Day. Which way that goes, I'm not really sure. A lot of times it depends on what's happening in people's districts, because people, when they go home, they go back to their own little echo chambers. If they represent a Democrat district, yeah, everybody's rah, 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 it's great. If they go to a Republican district, it's rah, rah, rah there too. It's more of the same. It only changes if we stay at the place of work and we negotiate a deal and we get it done. Let's get back to Feeding Westchester. We're, like I said, we are very, very encouraged by the job that they do. They do for us every single day. It's a tough job. And we have the Chief Operating Officer here with us today, Tammy Wilson. I'd like her to come up and to address you. So, Tammy.
Thank you so much, Mayor Spano and the City of Yonkers. We are thankful for this partnership. We are thankful for the community support that we've received over the last few weeks. As you said, food banks across the country, including Feeding Westchester, we talk very often with Feeding America, and what we're saying and what we continue to say is that these SNAP cuts, these change in policy, food banks were not meant to be the safety net of the people. That was government. And we're really stressed and concerned, and I mean stressed by way of resources. But we are still going to show up for our community. That is my pledge as well as my team's pledge with you today. We have been looking at this not just today, we have been looking at this since March when we lost about over 1 million pounds worth of food. We heard what happened with the HR 1 bill in July. We knew that some things were coming. We weren't prepared for this, but we are continuing to work hard, focus, work with our community partners, our government officials, our government partners, neighbors, donors, everyone. Everyone has been wonderful, but more is needed. More is needed. What breaks my heart and the hearts of my staff is that as we have this government shutdown, going into November, the month where we are celebrating Thanksgiving, where you break bread with your family, your friends, and you're about gratitude. I cannot imagine having to not only think about Thanksgiving, but now as a single parent, a working family, a veteran, a senior, a child, worrying about the anxiety, the overwhelmness of thinking about November 1st. So as I've gone through the community and spoken with my partners, government officials, everyone is like, Tammy, Feeding Westchester is doing a great job. We're praying for all of you. I'm asking everyone to pray, and I appreciate it. Pray for our neighbors, because that level of stress and anxiety, even when the government reopens, does not magically go away. And we're still going to be here as an organization supporting our community, because that's what we do every single day, government shutdown or not. I cannot imagine the anxiety, the overwhelmness, and then we also have to wait to see how long it actually takes to start up again. People have to catch up. We're going to support our federal workers who have gone without a paycheck for far too long, but we are, as always, going to be here for the community, and we're just so happy to have partnerships like this with the City of Yonkers. Thank you so much. Thank you. Every bit counts. If you're donating here, if you need to drop off at our distribution center in Elmsford, our donation door is open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Our website is feedingwestchester.org. Every bit counts, and we appreciate every bit of blood, sweat, and tears, support, and everything. There is a reason that our tagline is Together We Are Feeding Westchester, because we cannot do this alone without our community partners, our government partners, corporations in this community, neighbors. We just cannot. So we thank you so very much, and thank you again for having me.
Thank you, Tammy. And Tammy, and again, thank you for what you do each and every single day. And we all know that Yonkers has a very, very large senior population. And as a city like ours, which is still a city where we kind of all know each other and we can reach out and touch all sides of the city, we have the ability to know who our neighbors are, especially our seniors. They can be the ones that can be the most vulnerable, and probably be the ones that will never ask for help. And so you're going to have to reach out to them. You're going to have to knock on your neighbor's door. You're going to have to say, hey, how's everything? Did you eat today? That's the question. Kelly Chiarella, Office of the Aging. Kelly.
Good afternoon, everyone. So we have two issues, honestly, happening simultaneously. I will tell you that community partners met this morning, as early as this morning, to discuss ways to communicate all of the resources that are available in the city of Yonkers, including our strong partner at Feeding Westchester. We are grateful to all the increase in resources that are being offered to our food banks, including Feeding Westchester, from the state government, the county government, and of course this initiative that we're starting here in the city of Yonkers. It will all be helpful. Our seniors, our most vulnerable populations are all going to be affected if this government shutdown continues at any length. Our seniors are living on fixed incomes, dealing with the increased costs of rent, dealing with the increased cost of food, and cannot navigate this crisis without us. And then the second issue also being that the H1N1 changes to SNAP and Medicaid are beginning also as of tomorrow. So our community partners met this morning to talk about long-term goals, communication, pooling all of our resources, and being able to talk to our residents in one voice instead of sending people looking for and scrambling for resources. We're all going to know exactly where to send our people, and that will all be on the website. The changes are just beginning. We're seeing the SNAP changes happening right now, but there's also WIC, there's Head Start, there's HEAP, there's many changes, and then there's Medicaid changes coming down. Please know that Office for the Aging, City of Yonkers, Mayor Mike Spano, we are all here to work together to navigate this crisis and find our residents everything they need. Thank you.
Thanks, Kelly. And don't forget, Kelly is responsible for making sure that our seniors, especially those who want to age in place, have food security. 40,000 meals last year. I mean, these are the type of things that happen in our city, and we depend on federal funds in order for this to happen. And so I'm going to ask our superintendent, though, to come up and to speak a little bit about us, especially our kids, and how this will affect New York State's third largest school district.
Thank you, Mayor. Wish we would be here talking about a different topic, but you know, food is a major source of wellness for our children. In Yonkers Public Schools, the mayor said, you know, we are the third largest school system. We have 24,000 students. 18,000 of our students are identified as economically disadvantaged, which means many of them rely on programs like SNAP for their families and their household. It's not considered supplemental to them. It is essential. It is part of how they operate. It is what helps put food on their table. When we stop benefits like SNAP, we are literally forcing families to make choices around transportation costs, utility costs, or food. And so it's that dire in many of our homes. When students come to school hungry, they can't focus. Their attendance is impacted. Educators are left trying to figure out how to fill these gaps with resources that we weren't just designed for in schools. And we've done a really good job. And you know, we've done great work here in Yonkers under the leadership of the mayor, city council, the board of education. Just in 2 months, we've given 100,000 breakfasts we have fed in the city of Yonkers, 220,000 lunches in the city of Yonkers. So we are doing our part during the school day. It's the concern is when they leave us. What happens when they leave our schools? We were fortunate. We started this work last year, and we've launched some school-based food pantries in our community schools. Like Fermi, we have a great relationship with Feeding Westchester, where we open up a couple times a week, and families come to our school. It's through those partnerships, but to what was said earlier, that can only go so far. And it wasn't meant to be the mechanism to feed our families. It was meant to supplement and provide additional more items. If the government shutdown continues, I think you've heard it, WIC, housing vouchers, and even Head Start programs start to become potentially impacted. And these are lifelines for our families who do everything right, but still struggle because of the high cost of living in our region. So as educators, as a superintendent, please know that we know that when the federal government doesn't act, it eventually translates and impacts student success. We have a Department of Education that's pretty much non-existent at the federal level. And so when families are supported, our students are going to thrive. I appreciate the mayor taking this initiative and really putting his foot forward and saying we're going to do something about it like he's always done for this great city. My message is simple. Stability matters for our families, for our kids. And we can't ask children to learn if they have unstable homes and they come into school hungry. And so please protect these programs, do your part, get in the room. We don't let kids go home when there's conflict. We force them to have a restorative conversation as much as possible. This is not a political problem. It's actually an educational problem. And if we want the future generations to be better than the past, we got to make sure that they at least have a solid meal to come home to. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Superintendent, and you are so right. Stability matters, and we talk about it's the breakfast programs and lunch programs in our schools, and there were many times that we just didn't even get enough funding just for those programs. It was the city council that jumped forward and said we need to put additional dollars in. But the problem, guys, is that we don't have the ability to fund what this will happen. What problems that this will cause. The Yonkers budget is already under enough stress. Your police and fire and sanitation and education and the community safety and all the things that we do here. And to add this to the menu would be beyond what this city could afford. But we do have power. You do, as the residents of this city, the residents of this community, we have the power to make a difference. We have the use of your hands. You want to send messages to Washington. You can call, use email, snail mail, whatever which way you want to do this. I don't know if anybody even uses snail mail anymore. But you have the ability to have your voices heard. And then you also have the ability, and Yonkers is such a wonderfully diverse community. We have many different sides of our city, and the economics are very vast. And we have people who have the ability to donate. And I'm asking, let's do like we always do here in Yonkers. Let's donate. Let's make sure that whatever this, and I can't imagine that this will be this will be a long process. But for however long it is, let's reach into our pockets. Let's go into our cupboards. Let's pull some food out. Let's make these donations, donate to Feed Westchester. These are the types of things that we need to do because we're going to take care of our community. That's what we're going to do. And we'll do the best we can for as long as we can until those guys get their acts together down in Washington. I'm going to ask the council president to come up and give us a couple remarks on behalf of the city council. Lakeisha Collins-Bellamy.
Good afternoon, everyone. We all stand here somewhat with the somber face on because we understand the impact that this shutdown is now having directly on residents here in the city of Yonkers. But one thing I am proud of, being a resident of Yonkers in this great state of New York, I know that in times of crisis, New York bands together. Yonkers comes together. And this is one of those times when we need our neighbors and our residents to come together and dig deep because we know that there will be children, seniors, veterans, families who are suffering. We all grew up at a time where whether there were a lot of children in the home or money just was stretched thin and we would have bread and beans for dinner. And that seems like the times that we are coming up on if our government does not get back to work. It's not about politics. It's not about race. It's about humanity. And having a meal on the table is a human right that many of us are facing in jeopardy, especially during the month of November with Thanksgiving coming upon us. So I ask all the residents, dig deep, look in your cupboards, ask your neighbor over for dinner. You never know what the person next to you may be going through. And it's now more important than ever that we stick together. And that's why I'm proud to say that Yonkers doesn't have to reinvent the wheel because we've had the processes in place to assist our residents. And now we're just working harder with our partners like Feeding Westchester and Yonkers Public Schools to get our families and our residents the meals they deserve. Think about it. think about your family, think about your neighbors, and find one of these boxes and donate to help another family in need. It's the season of giving. Give back. God bless you all.
Any questions?
Just lost off tomato. Is there any plans in place for supporting the food businesses that are going to lose out on the SNAP revenue?
Again, you know, how do we do that? The way to do it is obviously with government subsidies, right? And this is such a huge amount of money that it's not possible really for the local government to kind of step in and take over. Now, we could help, and I'm sure the city council, as we move forward, might want actually to move some additional city resources to help out. Right now, we want to be very, very strong in our advocacy. We also want to be strong in the fact that we know that starting on Saturday, we might have a crisis brewing, and we want to make sure that we have a place where the average person can come and be helpful. We're going to point them in that direction. But the city taxpayers cannot foot the bill. It's just not there. But we're going to make it work. You guys are probably going to make fun of me because, today's Halloween. I'm Captain Kirk today, right? And Captain Kirk never believed in a no-win scenario, right? And I firmly believe that we'll find a win here. And because that's what we do. And that's what, when we all put our minds together and we all put our efforts together, we'll figure out a way to muddle us through until Washington gets their act together. Until then, we have a lot of work to do in advocacy, and we have a lot of work to do in making sure that people who can make the donations, Feeding Westchester, make the donations of food, and more than that, become more self-aware. Look around your neighborhood, look around the apartment building you're in. You know who struggles. Reach out, offer a helping hand. We all can, we all should. Okay, thank you.